So it makes for a really good presentation. Just think if we were together in a room, we would all be fully present. So we're hoping to just be able to see everybody be interactive in this presentation today, inshallah. So we'll go ahead and inshallah get started. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum everybody, and welcome to our November Rising Together series where we put together community-led workshops. So today we've invited Sheikh Dr. Hadi Yassin for our program today to kind of talk about empowering the identity of ourselves and our children and raising confident Muslims, inshallah. Some of you guys did have questions. We'll make sure that we address those questions, or we'll talk about them today, or we'll get them to you answered via email. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So just a little bit about us. All these community workshops are led by Rise Institute staff. So Rise Institute is a faith-centered learning community. It is a K-12 educational organization. We have a K-12 completely virtual online school. And then we also offer home study programs, school partnerships, micro schools, and we try to be a support for our community. So alhamdulillah, we're able to create an environment where our students, our mission for our students is to develop the child holistically, have them be God conscious, and inshallah be productive members of society, inshallah. So I'd like to invite, mashallah, Ms. Kareem, our academic director, to just say a few words for our program today.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome. This presentation, inshallah, is dedicated to Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra alayha salam, as we're nearing the anniversary of her tragic martyrdom. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, narrating from Imam Hassan alayhi salam, said, I saw my mother, Fatima al-Zahra alayha salam, stand in her prayer close on the night of Friday. She remained continuously bowing and prostrating until the dawn light appeared. I heard her praying for the believing men and believing women, mentioning them by name and making abundant supplication for them. Yet she did not pray for herself at all. So I said to her, O mother, why do you not pray for yourself, just as you pray for others? And she replied, my son, the neighbor comes before the household. So inshallah, may Allah accept your deeds and the time that you're spending here with us, inshallah, as we present this gift, inshallah, this majlis and this community workshop in the name of Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kareem. So without further ado, we'd love to introduce Sheikh Dr. Hadi Yassin, inshallah. So he joins us here today as founder of Enlight Academy, which is the first Montessori Shia school in the Bay Area. He's the founder of Hadi Life Coaching, specializing in children, parenting, and relationships. He has a master's degree in psychology, formal Islamic seminary education, and a doctorate in psychology, alhamdulillah. So he brings to us a wealth of knowledge from multiple perspectives. And so we're really excited to have him joining us today to talk for our empowerment, our Rising Together program, inshallah. So without further ado, if we can have a muted salawat for our Sheikh, inshallah.
Thank you so much, sister. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Can you guys hear me? All right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Great to see you guys here. Alhamdulillah. Thank you all for being here. It's always my favorite, topic to talk about anything related to parenting, children, specifically in the school environment and the connection between the school and the home. It's very, very important. Specifically, today's workshop is something very close to my heart, something our children, our families, and even our communities, desperately need. I would like to start sharing my slide, inshallah, so we can move forward with that. Let me see. Okay. You should be able to see my workshop. Can you see it now? All
Yes,
right.
we can see it. Thank
Okay,
you.
let me just open it. 1 second. All right. So, as you know, and you see it, it's about um, empowering identity and raising confident Muslims, something that we needed, all of us individually. Some of us were still, as adults, struggling to find the exact identity that we have to have. But specifically when it comes to our children, we always look to make sure we're raising children who are having a correct, guaranteed, and a strong identity. So, especially in this world that everyone is trying to tell our children who they are, right? Their identity, their gender, their personality, everybody's trying to pull them towards their own direction. And in the middle of that noise, every Muslim child is asking also silently, who am I? Specifically when it comes to older teenage, preteen age, am I good enough? Where do I belong? This question keeps coming to their mind. And I have a lot of teenagers I talk to them specifically, or younger children as well, that they are rotating around this concept and feelings that, who am I and what am I going to do? Islam gives the answer, of course, but those answers must be built, you know. It should be nurtured, of course, by different settings and parents and schools and community even, and be protected as well, This is very important. So, what I would like to pay attention here is that it's very important for us to understand that identity does not simply appear in your child. We have to understand that it's not just, I put my child in Islamic school, I put my child in a Sunday school, and so, and it will help them to build, their identity. Or my child is a very good child, mashallah, he's very respectful, and so and so. This is something that should be built piece by piece, and I mean it throughout this workshop, we'll talk about it. Through moments, conversation, environment, relationship, children, it's just it's siblings, interactions with friends. Children learn, who they are from what they repeatedly hear, what they see, what they experience. This is why our role as parents and as teachers crucially matter here in the formation of the identity of our children and the children around, by the way. Because if I am a mom, a dad, the children who are dealing and who are around my child's, their identity is also being formed as well. And on the other side, if I'm a teacher, absolutely, my work here would affect the identity of my children as well. I would love to make my workshop very interactive and mutual, and I'd love you guys to participate, inshallah. You can mostly, if you want, through the chat, if you like. I like to hear from you guys because you know what it helps? It helps us to understand more and to hear and learn more. I love that because throughout my workshops, when I ask questions, it helps actually to learn more. So my first question, I would like you guys to chime in. When you think about your own identity, who were the biggest influences in shaping your identity? Think about it. Things childhood, throughout your life, whoever you are today. What is the reason? Who influenced your identity? And I would love to read it, inshallah, as well. My grandparents and uncles, okay? Sure, go ahead. Imams, okay, mashallah. Parents, all right. See if you have any other people. So a lot about family members, a lot about, the stories that we heard about different people and in the past, right? So some people influenced you about your identity, who you are today. But my other question is, what do you think is shaping your child's identity right now the most? Imagine in the bigger picture. What is it? Or who are those who are shaping the identity of your children? School, school, school. All right. So a lot of emphasis on the school. All right. What else? We don't even have time to spend with them. That's a very good point. Social media, school, and peers. Very good points. What else? I want you to see what are your challenges with your kids building their identity. Environment, absolutely correct. The environment that they are raising in. What I want is your own hands-on experience in the actual field that your parents, your teachers, what do you think is affecting our children? So while you're typing, let's move forward. So what are the things that we're competing against for the identity? Um, Children today are very unique. They're facing something that we didn't face growing up, you know? And because we don't know some of the things that they are involved with, we might not know how to cope with them and how to take care of those things, right? One of the major things that kids are dealing with, and it's crucial, is very important, you know, um, is the peer pressure. And this goes from younger children, by the way. The influence of other people on my children. I might do my best to raise children who are amazing with tarbiyah, with adab, with respect, with iman. But when it comes to other people's influence, if I'm not sure, I might keep my children away from screen and certain things. But when it comes to other kids in the masjid, in the school, online, somewhere else, in the park, they have access to certain things. They would come and talk to my children and they try to influence them as well. You don't know how many parents I have seen that very great parents, great family, educated, moment, very, very dedicated. What happened is that the child went to the different path. When we analyzed it together, everything at home was overall okay. It was the peer pressure and the influence of these friends that it affected them. The dangerous part of younger children, you know what it is? Parents think they're still too young. It's okay. They're fine. We usually notice when children becomes preteens, when they become 10, 11, 12, then we start finding, to be honest, mostly above that, 14, 15, we realize, oh my God, what path they're choosing and if they're, what kind of identity they chose for themselves. So it is very important, from the beginning, the identity matters here, right? Peer pressure is one. What environment you're creating for your children. Online culture is very famous. I had multiple workshops about this. The online culture that if your child, and I think anyone here, please put in the chat, how many devices your children they have. Okay. I know there are different ages here probably, but averagely, how many devices your children they have? Okay. Let's put it here. 1, 2, let's see. Okay. 1. I have a record of 4 or 5, so don't feel shy. Maybe more as well. Some parents, they have them at the home and somewhere else, in the room. So, okay, good to know. Mostly 1. If your child has a device for themselves, that means they have access to, if there's no boundaries, inshallah, you guys have boundaries and you are helping them to understand what they can see, what they cannot see. But when it comes to, if they are just watching simple YouTube, if they're watching a simple thing, simple, cartoons or show or whatever it is, based on that, if you show me that cartoon or that innocent, video or movie, I tell you how it's shaping their identity. Good or bad, by the way. Some movies, some cartoons, some animations are very good, some on the other side, right? Whatever they're watching, go back to your own childhood. Those movies, those cartoons that you watched, and you still remember, oh my God, that was a childhood memory of those cartoons. You grew up with them. They shaped part of your identity, if not the entire identity, right? So online culture matters. So therefore, your presence in their online presence is crucial too. You can't leave them online to be by themselves. It's like you leave your child in the park, you drive back home. A little child. Would you do that? A 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, would you do that or not? Right? So you cannot, because it's too dangerous. Anyone can come and steal your child. And we have the hadith from, I believe, Imam Kazim, he said, be very fast and be very diligent about your children's adab and tarbiyah and nurturing them, because there are thieves and enemies that are waiting to steal them from you. You don't have time, to waste here. Media influence, absolutely, it's very, very crucial here to pay attention. Confusion about belonging. And yes, who am I? What part of the group am I belong to? We'll talk more about this, inshallah, as well. So on the other side, what is beautiful, Islam is telling us that Islam has a great, response to this, If our children are pulled in many directions, social media, peer pressures, online influence and everything, on the other side, Islam gives them belonging. It gives them value when you let them be familiar with this. What are the values that I'm living for? What am I going to become? What are the values that I'm struggling with, right? And the depth of the values can help them to have a better and more meaningful identity in their life, right? The meaning of life. I'm going to become a physician. I'm going to become a teacher. I'm going to become an engineer. I'm going to become so for what I'm going to become. Like since even younger children, teenagers, absolutely. I want you to talk to them, preteens, the same thing as well. Why do you want to become a doctor? I want to become a doctor to help people. Amazing, mashallah. I love that. I want to be a teacher so I can raise other children, teach other children, and so on. So amazing, mashallah. Give them even little one. Teenagers, you can go more abstract in details. So what are the values that we're fighting for, right? And when do you introduce them to Ahlul Bayt? It's the beautiful moment of understanding they lived for the purpose of life. They lived for the meaning of their life. They lived based on their values. So when you can tell them, all ages, you can tell them that the disbelievers of the Quraysh came to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and said that we'll give you money, we'll give you wealth, we'll give you the best of all women, forget about your mission. And he said, if you put sun in my hand, right hand, and the moon in my left hand, I'm not going to forgive about my value and my meaning and my mission. Do you understand what does it mean? How psychologically strong this person is that he's living for his values. His value is not just dunya. He's not just for the sake of, money and so on. So this builds identity. When you share this story with them and they understand, wow. So he chose a difficult path. He chose a much more difficult path versus the easy path. Give up, and then you're going to have a lot of things from dunya. But he chose his value, his meaning. This value and meaning gives what? Gives direction, right? So when I have the value, when I have the meaning, I have the direction in my life. So when you're talking to 11-year-old, 10-year-old, 15-year-old, doesn't matter, you can talk to them, you can let them think about this topic of what are we going to be. Parents, let me be very honest here, I will say in my lectures as well. Parents, when their child is going to pick up a college, choose a college applications, the only thing they tell the child is, or the teenager is that, what school is the best and has the best rank? You're giving an identity in that sense. And that identity is rank, reputation, wealth, and money is the most important thing. And yes, they are important. But if I say, hold on, sweetheart, is there any Shia masjid around there? Is there any halal store around there? Do you have access to halal? You're giving a different identity here, right? It's very, very important. So they understand there are no contradictions between the two, but you're giving a direction to them. And this is a value I want you to have to grow up. And by the way, psychologically, these people are going to be very strong, very, resilient in life. So, but we have to nurture this, of course, right? Look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this beautiful ayah. Of course, all the ayats are beautiful. He's saying that, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَمَنْ يَعْتَصِمْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ هُدِيَ إِلَىٰ صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. So Allah is giving the direction here. Allah is saying that this verse reminds us that when we anchor our children to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they find stability. Hidayah, that is stability one. When they understand that their worth comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not people, not their boss, not their teacher, identity becomes unshakable. It becomes very strong, right? They're resilient. They study hard. They do their best. But they know that their path, Hidayat is here. What does it mean? It's not just salat and fasting. No, Hidayat means the direction of the path. That's exactly what I said here, the direction. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show them the direction by what? But having me, your value, as a direction, as a goal, as a value. Therefore, when you want to tell them, you need to pray, you need to fast, you need to do, yes, there are children, yes, there are teenagers, it's difficult for them, but your job is much more less hectic if they have that connection with Allah, with their values, with their direction. Then why should I pray? Why should I fast? They will break their fast in Ramadan when you're not there. But when they have self-resilience inside based on their values, they have that protection inside, right? They control themselves. So let's go a little bit to psychology and see what psychology is telling us about formation of the identity of our children, okay? The first one, which is super important, is attachment. Attachment is, I can tell you, my whole research in master's program was about attachment. And I did research about probably 3 or 4 years of research about attachment. Attachment is something specifically with the first caregiver, which is usually mothers, especially between the age of 0 to 3 to 4. It has lifelong, life-term influence on every single aspects of your child. Brain development, emotions, um, you go to social skills, to every aspects of their life, it affects them. My master's thesis was the effect of early attachment on marital satisfaction. You can imagine, right? The first 3 years of life, how it affect and impact the marital intimate relationship with the spouse. Right? This is how important it is. So the first one is the attachment, and of course, I want you to do more research about this. We're talking about the secure attachment. When children are securely attached to their parents, it helps them to have the foundation of building the identity. If the attachment is insecure, you keep talking about Allah, you keep talking about so and so. House environment is insecure. Relationship with the first caregiver is insecure. It affects them, right? Second, absolutely modeling the example they see daily in you. What is your identity? How you are showing the identity. Well, I'll talk more about when it comes to the parent section, but modeling is very, very important. Third, repetition. Identity is not something that you talk once about Islam, you talk once about Al-Hilli, you talk once about the study hard, you once about being an educator, and they says, oh, thank you so much, mom, so I'm going to do it. No, repetition, overall, multi, units and multi, factors and multi tools and equipments you have to use, stories, modeling, hands-on projects to be able to help them. The other one is about community norms. The environment, one of the parents said that the environment your kids are raising in, the school environment that they are, the friendship environment, your family, friends, the community you choose, the norms of that community affect your who? Your child's identity as well. This is pure psychology. And of course, storytelling. What kind of things, what kind of a story, what kind of, important things in their mind, they remind themselves all the time about this topic. When it comes to Islamic view, let's see what Islam is telling us. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he empowered our youth by number one, trusting them. I'm becoming very practical, by the way. I'm giving all the practical tools and the steps for you guys. Number one, trust. If your child is not, you ask her, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 15-year-old, did you pray? It says, yes. You are not sure. You can keep saying, no, you didn't pray. Nope, I don't trust you. You shouldn't, blah, blah, blah. There's no trust here. Or you can say, absolutely you did. You prayed. I'm sure you prayed. I love your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Absolutely, I trust you. Even if she didn't pray, she goes to her room and says, I betrayed my mom's trust, my dad's trust. It stays in their mind. They understand they shouldn't betray that trust. That trust is something, by the way, we're there, we understand and we encourage them, right? We're not naive. We see sometimes they don't do it. But that would encourage them to understand that this is between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm here to facilitate that. I'm here to encourage that. Yes, sometimes I'll push it too. Don't forget about the push as well a little bit, right? But I trust you in these things, right? So this trust is very measured trust, by the way. It's not that I trust you, go out, have any friends you want. No. We already talked about it. We communicate with them. We set the norms and values. We talked about the other slides, if you remember, right? We talk about the everything. And then after all this, I trust you. What this trust is very supervised trust. So the other thing is about giving responsibilities. It builds the identity, You know how Rasulullah, he gave a lot of responsibilities to younger children and children and all people as well. You remember the last army of Islam, when he went out, the entire Muslims community, right? We have 80-year-old, 90-year-old in that army, but Prophet Muhammad made Osama the commander of chief. Osama is the youngest one among a lot of them, right? So he said, no, he has to be. When it comes to your children, give them responsibility. Give them good responsibility, age-appropriate responsibility, of course, right? When it comes to the 5-year-old, give them responsibility about, I need your help to make your lunch. Put your lunch together, right? For school. Put the snack. Put the so-and-so inside, right? You're in charge of putting the utensils, for the lunch. You're in charge of, I don't know, helping your so-and-so siblings. When it comes to 15-year-old, I want you to be responsible of paying the bills. Something big, something important. I want you to start taking these aspects of our finances, house finances, so they learn to become a professional, successful people as well. We, by the way, at the same time, we want mu'min, Muslim, Shia who are professional. I always say in my lectures as well, I want the Shia community to be the one who are the breadwinners of other people, not that they'll always be employee of other people, right? So having that concept in them. So giving them responsibility, inspiring with stories. Guess what? We're in the Ayyam of Fatimiyya, say the Fatima Sallallahu. That value, that direction, and the things that I mentioned about, the meaning, the story of Sayyidah Fatima Sallallahu is the best ever story you can tell your children, all ages. Of course, you need to nurture this story by the age differences that we have. That how she's the best daughter, she's the best wife, she's the best mother, and so and so. But when it comes to her values, how strongly she's standing up, right? She doesn't give up for anything. She lost her FedEx, she lost everything else. She fought for her values, for her identity. Why? They wanted her to assimilate to the wrongdoing of the society. She said no. So imamat was so important for her. She's the first shahida of the path of the imamat, right? This story is so rich that I can talk to my children about. Building their dignity. This is another important thing so they understand the respect that they have inside the house and outside the house. Never, ever, I can't emphasize enough, in front of other people, don't put your children down. Even your mom, your dad, the uncle, and so brothers and sisters. Your child is a king and queen with respect. If there is some concern you want to talk to someone, only people who can help you respectfully behind the scenes, so and so, right? You understand what I'm saying? So respect of children, dignity of children. Where I get that from, Hadith is saying, حُرْمَةُ الْمُؤْمِنِ أَفْضَلُ مِنْ حُرْمَةِ الْكَعْبَةِ. The respect of a mu'min is more important than the respect of the Kaaba. If you have to choose between two, it's just a symbol. The hurmat and respect of mu'min is more important. And you want to raise mu'min children. Connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala absolutely is important. Modern challenging? Tell me about it. We're all aware of that, right? So we talk about a social media comparison. So once your child is watching so-and-so cartoons, so-and-so social media, if they have access to, I hope and I wish no one in the Shia community, in the Muslim community, below the age of 14, 15, 16, 17, they have access to social media. The oldest you can go, right? It's wild what is happening there, right? That's why some countries are banning the social media. How bad it is that they banned it. Australia, I think last week I heard they banned certain things, in Australia as well. So social media comparison, they compare themselves. Why everybody's traveling? What? Did you know that the highest rate of divorce is because of social media, Facebook, and Instagram, and so on, so among adults? So fear of being different is very important. The fear being too Muslim, where that comes from, what the parents are telling them, what the parents are teaching them, right? What does it mean to be Muslim? We'll talk more about this. Weak identity by role models. If parents compromise our identity, we are traveling now, we are traveling with so-and-so, we can't pray in the airport, so forget about this. We'll make it qaza and we'll pray after that later. So it tells me how strong is our identity as Muslim, because other peoples are around, right? In the airplane, somewhere else, inside the street, wherever, if you don't have access to house or somewhere else, we need to pray. So if they see that mom and dad are compromising, when you go out, you don't have to tell everybody in the park that you're a Muslim. A little one, they usually want to say it, right? Shh, don't say it. Hide it. Shh, don't. So it's something shameful then. And one side, when it comes to masjid, when it comes to Islamic school, you're telling me to be very outspoken about it. But when it comes to actual field and outside, I should be intimidated by that. So weak identity role model, right? They see what you do. They see what you say. Conflicting values is part of what I said. And pressure to hide faith is part of the whole thing. All right. Let's make it to more practical. Parents. It is important to understand home is the identity factory, the first place and the most important one that they are learning. Parents are the first builders of confidence, faith, and self-worth. It's very important to keep that in mind, right? The home is where identity is first shaped. Parents are the builders of the identity of confidence and faith. Each one parent who is consistent, loving, and intentional in this path can completely transform a child's identity. And opposite as well, by the way. Depends on who we are. So for a second, I want to pause, ask myself, if you'd like to ask yourself as well, how's my identity as parents? How firm and strong is my identity as Muslim, as Shia? How good of a role model am I before I tell my child what to do? That's not to put myself down to have less self-esteem. No, that's about evaluating myself to improve myself, right? You can do it with cooking, you can do it with working, whatever. Years ago, I went to my barber, and my barber said, every week we have a training. I have to go to so-and-so institution for training how to know about the hair, about the product. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? You're just responsible for people's hair. Every single week you go to training. Me as a mother, me as a father, am I going to every week parenting to learn something? Oh, inshallah, once a month, so-and-so, somewhere is going to have some sort of. Their hairstyle training is weekly, continuous, back to back, and they are following up. We have some random things sometimes, right? So it's super important to understand. I ask myself these questions. I'm going to teach what? It helps me to become a better parent. It helps me to become a better Muslim. Let me tell you what, brothers and sisters, may Allah bless you for being here. We are not just a parent. We are responsible for the next generation of Shia Muslim world in the community. If we are judging the people of Kufa, why they didn't support Imam Hussein, if we're judging the people of the time of Sayyidah Fatima, why they didn't stand up to help her, no one stood up other than the very close ones to stand up to say, why you're burning her house. This is an identity crisis in the entire Medina. If that cause is their parents' issue, let me tell you what. We're judging them. We're in the same shoe. We're forming the identity of the next. When I say identity of your child, I'm talking about the pieces of the identity of entire Ummah of Islam and Shia community. Now you feel the heaviness of the responsibility on us, right? It's not just my child. So, sweetheart, you don't want to fast, you don't want to pray, you don't want to have hijab, so you have to. Who am I to be able to dictate the Islamic ruling? I need to follow, right? What Islam is telling us. You see a lot to talk about. I have to move forward to make sure we are having time, inshallah. All right. Questions for you. What does emotional safety look? You don't have to say if you don't want it to make it public, but what does emotional safety look like in your home or your classroom teacher? How your emotional safety looks like. It's very, very important. Emotion. We're talking about parents, we're talking about home, right? If you'd like to tell us, it's okay. If not, that's fine. Go ahead. Yes, whoever raised hands. You're on mute.
Sister Hina, you can go ahead and unmute.
All right, sorry. Yeah.
No problem.
Sorry.
So I think it's more like setting up the healthy boundaries and to train yourself first to become mental emotional intelligence. So once you are I say myself, once I'm mentally emotionally intelligent and I'm aware, I think I can teach my kids better
Yeah,
how
absolutely.
to set your emotional boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Like my daughter, my youngest one, she's very emotional and she's very attached to her sister. And when she's not playing to her, she's not giving her an answer, she got so upset and she said, no, she's not playing with me. My heart is pounding. Why she's not talking to me?
Yeah,
And there's the way I tells her about how to respect others' feelings and how to respect your own feelings.
good.
How you can be emotionally. It's not always that you want to play, she want to play. You have to respect others' time. You have to see yourself. If you will force, of course, you're hurting your emotions. So setting
Good
up
point.
healthy boundaries, I think, are more
Absolutely.
important. And that's
Absolutely.
what we learning in the Quran. That's what Imamines, they taught
Yes,
us.
exactly. Wonderful. Thank you
Respect.
so much for sharing. So I had a whole workshop 2 weeks ago about how to set the boundaries for your children. It's online in the Enlight Academy. You can have access to it, but it's a very, very important topic, how to do that. Thank you. The other question we can ask ourselves, can you think of a moment when you felt unsafe emotionally as a child? How did it affect you? It can be parents dealing with you, it could be the environment, it could be the school, how that affects you. That becomes your entire life in the moment, right? If it's not safe emotionally, if I'm not, I have a lot of clients, something happened in their childhood with their parents, with their uncles, with so and so happens. The whole thing at the age of 45, now 55, I had a client 85 years old, right? MashaAllah, woman that she couldn't have a healthy relationship with her husband, fourth husband, because of the childhood trauma that happened, right? So, emotional safety is very, very important here. A child becomes confident, form a healthy identity when home feels safe. If there's fight constantly, if there's issue constantly, if there's not strict, we have to have discipline, authoritarian parenting, discipline with communication, helping them to understand. This is the reason I set these rules. What do you think about this? When you said about social media, when you said about screen time, 20 minutes, half an hour a day, so and so. So what do you think the reason? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is what the science says. This is what the doctor says. This is so and so. Different ages, by the way. It's not just for older ones. What do you think about this? After all this, do you think it's safe to have more? Yeah, mommy, I like to have. Okay, I understand it. How about we do it this way? Yeah. How about no, half an hour is not about. How about 45 minutes? I'm flexible. Let me think about it, right? I'll leave little room for them for empowerment. Yeah, maybe, yeah, you're right. Maybe we can do that as well. Maybe sometimes we can do it, right? Safe environment. Emotional safety means the child is not afraid of parents. It means they still have respect, horma. What is missing today? Dad has no respect. Mom has no respect. They can do whatever they want to do, right? We become adult. Our generation, we were so afraid of parents. This generation, parents are afraid of children. So it's both ways is wrong. In the middle, خير الأمور أوسطها, right? Make sure they have respect, they have horma, but at the same time, not a fear. Emotional safety means this. It means respect, warmth, listening, and correcting without shaming, right? Among the characteristics of successful parenting, psychology is saying this: warmth, when the relationship with children, listening, right? Sensitive attunement, being attuned to their needs. Whenever they need something, we'd be there to understand and to support them. Confident Muslim identity can only grow in an emotional security. It's very important, right? So not shaming, not correcting based on the shame and so on. So I know sometimes we get so overwhelmed, we get so irritated by them, and we might just lose it and say whatever we can. Don't worry. Go back, talk to them, apologize, move forward, right? To tell them you are parents, you're also growing with your children. And I tell a lot of children and youth, your parents are not perfect. Your parents are parents. Maybe first time, second time. Let them learn from this as well. All right. Imam Ali said, the child's heart is a fertile land. Whatever you cultivate is going to grow, right? Depends on how you do it and what you do. All right. Let me move forward a little bit faster. I have a lot to cover, but speak identity into them. What does it mean? It means that the communication is the first and most important factor for any successful relationship, right? So children believe the words they repeatedly hear. If we tell them you are capable, Allah loves your effort, they internalize it. If we shame them, they internalize them too. They're going to grow up very scaredy cat, very intimidated Muslims that they want to hide their identity. Identity grows through empowering the words, right? MashaAllah, amazing, you're capable, you can do it, you do it, blah, blah, blah. Even if they are having some difficulties, even if they're having some issues, you raise them by that. You give them the power. I'm sure you can do it. I'm sure you can. Not a fake one. It's positive reinforcement, right? To help them to shape their identity as well. The words matters a lot. I had maybe 10 years ago, someone came to my office. It was a non-Muslim. He says, I have the gender issue identification for myself. I asked him, what do you think? How did it work? He says, I grew up, my parents keeps telling me, he was a 45-year-old man. He says, I growing up, my family keeps telling me, you're acting like a girl. You are a girl. Why are you acting like a girl? Why are you acting like I grew up thinking I am acting like a girl. So that word stayed in my mind, and I'm confused now, right? And he was well enough to question that and to want to see what's going on with that. So speaking about identity matters a lot. Positively, spiritually, powerful. Make Islam a source of a pride. Okay. Guess what? I can have the whole workshop about this slide, right? But I have to just fast forward. It's in Islam. So if Islam feels heavy, they will hide it. If Islam feels shameful, sometimes only for masjid or among Muslim, I will hide it, right? But if Islam feels a source of pride for me, if Islam feels beautiful, they will carry it proudly everywhere. You know what? The little ones, they usually do it. 4, 5, 6 years old, they can go out of, I'm Muslim, I'm Muslim. How parents deal with them socially in the environment, they can hide it or not. Give them the why of Islam. Celebrate Ramadan, share stories of Imam Ali, about Lady Fatima, Imam Hussein, show them that Muslims contributed to science. How many of us, we says, remember the math, the science, so and so, the original comes from all Muslim scientists, right? Medicine, art, all belong to Muslim belongs to a rich civilization. If Muslim were not there, science was not here, we wouldn't have computer today. Oh my God, I belong to a very important community. I am proud of that to announce it. If anyone asks me why, let's just stand up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, right? So teach meaning, not just the rules. Celebrate. I love when children will come, inshallah, ask questions about this thing. Celebrate Islamic events. If not Halloween, then we have our own event, inshallah, the school, the family, and Muslim community. If not Christmas, then we have a lot better, gathering together. Don't let them grow up feel they're missing out something. They have more than other people, right? And Imam Ali said, don't think that those who are committing haram, they have lazzat and pleasure that we don't have it. They have haram relationship, we have halal relationship. They have haram drink, we have halal drink. They eat haram food, we eat halal food, right? It's not that they're having something we don't have it, unless it's absolutely wrong. You see how Imam is just beautifully, he's like, okay, so I'm not missing out on anything. I'm actually better than others, right? Share stories of Ahlul Bayt, show Muslims, contributions to the world, as we mentioned, and role modeling. Again, it's all about how we show them. Children don't become what we say, they become what we are. Remember, they watch our tone, our patience. Again, we have to be careful. We might lose it sometimes. Our prayers habit, how we treat others. If you are stopping at the intersections and the light and the homeless is there, you have the money, you give the money. If you don't have the money, it's, oh, I wish I had some money to give it to this homeless person. That is a training of identity as well, caring. Even if you don't have to give. That, I wish I had, that's a form, right? So they watch everything that we do. So your action are shaping their identity far more than your words. It's very important. So the other things, let them ask questions. Very important. Let them ask questions. Let them say, why this? Why that? Of course, you should have enough knowledge. If you don't have it, don't worry. We'll ask Maulana. We'll ask so-and-so doctors. This is very good questions. That's wonderful. Children ask questions about Islam, life, sign of intelligence. So this is a sign of intelligence for them, right? So it's not rebellion. They don't want to put it down. If parents shut them down, they research answers from somewhere else online, but they get wrong answers from other people. If parents respect their questions, faith becomes what? More meaningful. All right. Some more practical steps about, family routines. Have some night of dua together. We have to all chime more into it. It's not just the masjid, all of us. Or answer call, gratitude journal, story time of Ahlul Bayt. Bedtime, you can use it in the best time, right? Some absolute, we should have a meal once a day, at least one meal together, and sometimes bigger throughout the week, that all of us together sit down, have some family time, and so on. So, okay, very quickly, let me go to teachers as well. That was about the house. That was about parents. Let me talk a little bit about the teachers as well. I want you to think about who is the one teacher or teachers who shaped your identity positively or negatively, and what happened then. Think about your childhood. Think about, did you have any teacher that you still remember them when you think about your school years? Was it positive? Was it negative? They were respectful? They were disrespectful? What happened at that time? This is what your children are going to remember with them. Is going to be with them. So teachers shape identity climate. A single sentence of you. How many teachers we have here? Can I have it? I want to make sure in the chat you put number of teachers. Wonderful, mashallah, job. So one sentence that you have and you do, it matters a lot here. So you can build the confidence or you can damage the confidence. You can inspire the faith or you can break the faith, right? It matters a lot. It matters a lot who you are. And sometimes children is like, when teachers ask them, when parents says, who said that? It's just, my teacher said that. It's teachers for the younger ones like a god. My teachers, they talk to each other, say, no, this is not right. No, no, my teacher said that. My teacher's like, oh my God, Allah made that. He said that, so I have to see how they look at you. So they learn from you. So a teacher words stays in a child's heart forever. A positive, encouraging teacher can build confidence. Remember, some people who are not good at math, they're like, my first math teacher, yeah, because of that, I don't like the math. The other one says, oh my God, my first science teacher, that's why I love science, the way that they taught me. It's not just about the science, it's about their akhlaq, their personality, their mood that affects as well, right? So teachers are the architects of the identity as well, in a form. Sometimes even more than parents. I want to say it quietly. You know why? Because you have the quality at least 5, 6 hours in a normal traditional school, right? 5 hours time with children. Parents don't have that much time with their children. We don't have that much time one-on-one with children. You have with the children. So you see how important you are. And that's what Allah says, the job of a muallim, a teacher, is a job of anbiya and prophets. You are also responsible and doing the shaping the identity of the generation of Muslim and Shia. May Allah bless you. This is amazing, right? So, respect and dignity in the classroom. I know some of them are naughty, some of them are just breaking the boundaries, some of them are just like, oh, please, right? It's part of the game, but use proper name, avoid public shame, make sure you use the praise, celebrate the strength, let them understand. They might, as parents, teachers as well. I mean, for parents as well, they test the limit, right? But the identity of children and students grow when they feel valued. Calling students by their proper name, respectfully, avoiding, I know sometimes they make something, not let them be ashamed. We don't want them to grow up having the feeling of shame, right? Even if they do something wrong. You can bring the curriculum of identity among them. Identity-based education is not just about, making every lessons religious. No, I want you to integrate it. If you're teaching science, you can integrate Islamic values. If you're teaching math, you can bring, that's why, it is very possible, specifically certain educational path, it's very easy to do that. So if you're teaching about bees, you can talk about Islamic identities, right? So it's about connecting Islamic values to learning and highlighting Muslim, like I said, scientists, integrating Quranic wisdom, teaching, akhlaq in every behavior, and, on and on. One of the things I want you to focus on is I'm concerned about our generation of kids and students is their self-esteem. I want you to let them to raise by self-esteem. Give them that power and respect that you can speak up. If other children are like, oh, no, that's wrong. Excellent. Sometimes I have children different ages, even adults. They ask very nonsense question. I find a way to make it a beautiful. So that's an amazing question. You know why? The point is this. He might not even notice on that point. I picked the point up. So I said, questions are good, right? So let them have that. You must prepare your children and your students, to be able to speak, to explain their faith, their prayers, fasting, hijab, Ramadan. When they understand, how to articulate their faith, they stop feeling they shy about it, and I have to hide it and so on. So they feel empowered to do that. And you can talk about it. Why? The boundaries in Islam. Islam said this. If I teach why namaz, it's easier to pray. Why salat is easier to pray, right? Why must we do this? As much as we can, by the way. It doesn't have to be philosophical answer based on age appropriate, right? To build the courage as well here. The other thing you can do is to build critical thinking. It's very important for the kids. Maybe the last slide I have, and then we can inshallah see if there's any question. So teaching critical thinking helps your children to think about, helps them with questions about harmful trends. How many cartoons and movies are trends now? go from K-pop, to different things, and they're singing, they're doing demon hunters and other things. There's a trend. I had a workshop about this, the whole things, you can go watch it online. The trends, videos that are out there right now and how it's affecting them. So when they have critical thinking, they understand about how harmful it might be, how it could be the effect of peer pressure on them. So it will make them think about, let me tell you what, we keep saying online, be careful, social media and cartoons and shows. How long can we stop them from this? We need to build the resilience inside and teach them gradually why and how to control it. That's more important than don't touch it. We have to be careful with that. But meanwhile, we have to teach that. Peer pressure, the same thing. If they can think independently, they can stay confident in their Islamic identity too. That's how it helps them to be careful with whatever the society will force them on that. All right, so I just put the information if there are any question later on out of the sessions you have, so inshallah you can ask. But if there's any questions, I don't know, Sister Tina, you want to read the questions if there are any questions, or they can ask. Up to you.
We can go ahead and start with opening the floor to questions that we already had first, and then if we have time, then we'll address the questions that were emailed to us. Inshallah, the floor is open. So you can populate the chat with your questions, or you can ask Seyed directly, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikum
salam. This is Maya. I'm the mother of two children in their teens, 13 and 14. My question is how do you teach humbleness without breaking their confidence? How do you teach them to kind of have humility and without like taking away from their confidence or their character? I'm not sure if you're understanding the question, but
can you give me an example? In what setting are you trying to say? In the house, with other people, with
other people? Like, for example, if my child is very confident about, for example, reciting tajweed, and we want to, we want to be proud of that moment, for example, but we also want him to always have humbleness and humility to be able to continue to learn and be willing to learn from others.
Yeah.
And not say like, I know it all already, for example.
Sure. Yeah. Very good question. Thank you. So first we have to define arrogance and being thankful for what we have, right? Arrogance here means I have something or I don't have something that made me better than other people. That's where it's not. No. Islam says that's not right. On the other side, being thankful for our talents, our values, and our achievement, but they are not making me necessarily better than other people, right? So that's what we need to instill in them. What does it mean? That means, alhamdulillah, you did hard work. You spent a lot of time on this. On top of all this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped you to learn Quran and Tajweed and so on and so. There's a lot to learn more. We're still not know, right? We can give some examples of ulama and scholars that says, now I understand that I don't know anything, right? I have to study more. So we shouldn't feel that we're better than other people because we don't know. It's not about recitation. It's not about tajweed. It's about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it as well, right? So bringing that to the mind and letting them understand. And on the other side, talk about what the arrogance disadvantages are. What arrogance did to Shaitan? He thought he's better than Adam. And guess what happened? He was among the angels. What happened? Boom, done, gone, right? So some explanation can help here. Second, modeling, as I mentioned here. How parents show them humbleness in these things. Dad can be successful, mom can be successful, but how humble they are in front of other people, right? That shows them and gives them that feelings that, that how it should be, how my parents and people around me are reacting and talking to other people too, right? So then combination of communication with them, setting examples, bringing stories, the same thing we mentioned here, and modeling of the parents. Inshallah, that would help. But sometimes, let me add this and finish with this. Sometimes if this is a chronic issue with I'm better than others, it might be some other issues such as attention issue, lack of emotional connection with parents, being down so many times. So that means I want to somehow show myself I'm good, I'm better than others, always in competition because I'm missing some security in life. That's more advanced, that needs to be discussed with a professional to be able to answer. Okay, next question. Go ahead, Sister Hina. Yeah.
Sister, go ahead. So,
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I have a question. It's like more being a how can we teach the kid if at home it could be your parent, one parent, or maybe a relative or an adult is showing a different behavior which is not appropriate for kids to observe or to choose that part. So within the respect, like where you don't want to tell kids, oh, no, this person is wrong or this person is doing bad, or to tell them exactly the behavior, but how to staying within the respecting boundaries and how to teach kids to know this behavior is not appropriate.
Is this person parents or mom,
Parent.
grandma?
That
Parent.
could be
Okay.
parent or like any person from the family member, and especially when it's because what happened in the families when the parents, especially the both parents, mother or father, if they are not aligned, if they're not aligned together, then kids start. It's very difficult sometimes to teach the kids, right? If mother says something, they will take as the father will take as against me. If father is saying something, so mother will take this. Oh, he's talking against me, and the
Yeah.
conflict starts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, how to
The-
teach kids like
Sure.
within the healthy boundaries, within like
Sure.
where nobody lose the respect.
And this is continuous or one time? Like this behavior. If it's one time, two times randomly, it's different than continuously this parent is making the same mistake, right? So let me make an example. So overall, we don't want to respect to bring a wrong idea to kids, right? So because it's a parent, they can make a mistake. Because it's a scholar, they can make a mistake. So I have to be quiet. No. But how we approach it, behavior matters. We don't disrespect others because they're doing wrong. Bring the example of Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein when they saw that older one who was taking wuzu in the wrong way, right? How respectfully they approached the old guy. He didn't say, oh, you're doing wrong. Let me teach you. He said, can you see how we're doing it? This example is identity, building identity, right? So, but if you have the parents who are making mistakes, if it's a mom, dad should talk to. If it's dad, mom should talk to. It says behind the door with the other parents says, do you think that was right what you did? So and so. Let's talk about this. What makes you feel you're doing this? So and so. They go fix it themselves. That's the best way. Sorry, sweetheart. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have doing this. This is wrong. So and so. Let's move forward. That's the best answer to this, right? So rather than the other parents come and says, oh, he did wrong. She did wrong. But if that's the case, they're still insisting in the wrongdoing. You can communicate with your kid. You can say, we still are respectful to daddy, to mommy, so and so, but we have to understand, yeah, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't yell, we shouldn't so and so. Respectfully. The approach matters here.
Thank you. Jazakallah.
Absolutely.
all right. Any other questions? All right. We did get 2 questions before the program started that are in the chat. They're a little lengthy, so if you want to read those off and answer. Meanwhile, we'd like to ask everyone to please fill out the survey in the chat.
Can you read the questions you said? I don't know where they are right now.
Oh, in the chat. Okay, I can read them out loud. Sure. I heard one scholar point out that the question of identity isn't really a question. Our identity is given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's centered around Allah, which our fitrah naturally leans towards. It is modern society that has made identity a question mark, like our gender, our skin color, and defining ourselves by this and that, our nationality, and reducing ourselves to that. Whereas the true identity is about Allah and creation of Allah, and Allah is our Malik, our owner. How do you combat all the possibilities society would like us to believe exist and hone in on our one true identity?
Ahsan, very good question. So then why Islam is encouraging and emphasizing so much on house parenting? Islam says, Rasulullah Muhammad said, when you are choosing a wife, don't just choose a wife, choose a mother for your children. Then why? So and then why some children become kafir, some children become mushrik, some children become out of Islam hypocrites, right? No, both are matters. The gene matters, the essence matters, the fitra matters, but sometimes the environment covered the fitra, the person, right? How did the Shem do? How did the wrongdoers they did, right? They covered the fitra. Sometimes they push the fitra away. So both matter significantly here. The environment, Islam pays a lot of attention. Sometimes we have a hadith telling us some people are growing up like a beautiful flowers next to the dungeon, right? So the environment affected them. So matters here a lot. Tarbiyat of parents. We have a huge section in Islam about parenting, how you need to talk to your children, what you need to do. The whole factor of 3-7 years, what is it? Then why do we have the 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14? Why do we have to pay attention? It's all about building the Islamic identity. If it says 0 to 7, they are king and queen, let them build the respect and the trust is because of the identity, right? No, absolutely matters here in all ages and all time. Identity is not just by itself is going to grow up. You leave your children without the training, guess what's going to happen? As I said, the hadith says, there are some people are waiting to steal your children from you. That's very good. But it's more inshallah into it. Another time we can talk about it.
All right, thank you. There's just one more question. What are the requirements or recommendations for finding a suitable playmate for our kids, one that can satisfy their social needs and not hinder their religious beliefs, especially in a time where we live so far from other Muslim families and with busy lifestyles, it's hard to schedule play dates?
That's a very good question. So I'm going to talk about the ideal version and then see if some situations are different too. Ideally, you need to be somewhere that you are around a healthy environment. I know some people, again, I'm not talking to this specific parent. I know some people, they move areas because of the environment for their children. I moved to another state because there is a Shia environment, there's an Islamic environment. A lot, they move to environment because of the school, right? Because of the Islamic school, I have to move there. So that matters 100%. So if it is possible, I said, make sure you're. Even if you are having access around the Muslims, that doesn't mean this is proper for you. No, you still have to investigate. You still have to be very careful. Once you are around Muslims, then you have to be super careful who you choose, right? So that's not just the job done there. But if you don't have access to it, you're far away from it, think about the long term. If it helps, if your job, if situation allows you to be among the Muslims. But alhamdulillah, nowadays, somewhere, somehow, inshallah, you'll be able to find some Muslim, proper families that you can choose for your children, right? So that's the best answer I can give you long term, because it's like you tell me if my kids don't have access to healthy food. The answer is that let them have access to healthy food, right? Nothing can, sometimes so and so. But if not, I would recommend be very, 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 very careful who your children would hang out around under your supervision. Depends on their ages as well, by the way. Who they are hanging out with, what kind of family, what they're learning, to be able to minimize the possible risk. That's the short answer I have.
All right, thank you so much. All right, we are going to wrap up here. Thank you so much, Seyed Dr. Hadi Yassin.
Thank you all for your
time.
attendance, and may Allah inshallah bless you. It was an honor to be at your service and talking to you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, I'm going to just end our program, inshallah, with just a few more things. If you guys don't mind sticking around, just 5 minutes of your time. Bismillah. All right. And just another reminder to please take the survey, just so we can serve you a lot better. We can put on, these community workshops for you guys, inshallah. So we want to be able to serve you in the best way. All right. All right. But before we end our program for today, we would like to humbly ask you to support our mission. Your donation helps more than 188 students access a nourishing Shia Islamic education through our full virtual school, growing micro schools. We have school partnerships with like Al-Mustafa, and we have flexible options for homeschool families, including our Rise Home Study program. Your impact, though, goes far beyond our enrolled students. Rise Institute is committed to serving a global community through accessible, high-quality Islamic education. We offer community-wide programming, such as this, Alhamdulillah, Rising Together series, and we've also partnered with Salam Online to launch a global teacher training program to strengthen Shia Islamic education worldwide. Our teachers also contribute to global Islamic learning by creating original content, developing novel studies, building Tawhidi strands for science, and leading worldwide professional development on integrating God-centered, Tawhidi-aligned approaches into science curriculum. By donating to RISE, you support not only our students, but you uplift families, educators, and communities across the world, helping build a future where Islamic education is accessible, excellent, and rooted in purpose. There's a 40-second video I'd like to share. And again, if you guys don't mind, let me make sure I'm sharing sound as well. And bismillah.
My favorite thing about RISE is that the teachers are experts in their field, and the opportunity to make friends around the world is amazing, where you can socialize with people all over the world and get to know them.
Number line. Remember, these are strategies, okay? So we're going to learn these strategies. Beautiful job, Ali.
Your gift is Sadaqah Jariyah. May Allah bless you and your families with barakah and success.
Thank you for your generous support of RISE Institute.
All right. Thank you. You have a QR code there for anyone who is interested in supporting. And last but not least, please save the date. Our next Rising Together series is going to be, inshallah, we're going to be welcoming Sheikh Mohammed Al-Hilli. Please save the date for December 17th, same time, 3 p.m. PST. Right? Jazakumullah all khairan. And we ask Allah to help us rise to success in this world and the next, inshallah. Fi amanillah, everybody. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking the time. Fi amanillah, everybody.